What is up, y'all, and welcome to the Growth Mindset Diaries. This is episode 2. In today's episode, I would like to talk about how when I go to church and how it makes me feel, and also when I start following a godly life, a Christian life, how things start flowing better for me. They start flowing better in a sense that I have a moral compass. I have a community, because I have been talking about a lot lately, like how lonely I am and looking for a community, looking for a tribe. When I go to this specific church, the ambiance when I walk in there, the feeling when I walk in there is like home. And I sit there and I hear the music playing. It takes away all the stress of the week. It takes away all my worries. And in there, I see people that are there for one central reason. I would like to go over my notes that I took from this week's sermon. I believe that they really spoke to me personally, and it's something that I have been going through and struggling with. And the first thing here, it says, love and obedience are inseparable when it comes to God specifically. I have been trying to follow God, but I haven't been doing it obediently, and I haven't been taking it very seriously. And the moments when I don't take it seriously, that's when things start to downfall. And it's I'm not saying it's getting scary, but the moments I stray away from being obedient and following like a godly life, and I start falling into doing like certain sins and all that, then my life just goes haywire. I don't know what it's called. I don't know what it's called to have this gravitational pull towards wanting to follow a godly life. I don't know all the terms. I don't know all of this. I'm literally like a couple months in, and I still keep on falling directly back into my same old patterns. And I keep getting shown time and time again that my same old patterns are not going to get me anywhere. My question to myself is, how many times is it going to take for me to see how the godly life is and see how positive and how much abundance comes with it, and for me to just completely throw that out the window and follow like a non-godly life and see all the negative impacts it comes with? How many times am I going to just completely neglect the godly life? Like, how many times is it going to take? Like, I wish that there was a way for me to see into the future and see the exact moment where things are going to click for me, and I'm finally going to be obedient, finally going to just take things more seriously. When am I going to take following this godly life seriously? There is a light at the end of the godly life tunnel. I sense it. I feel it. It's a strong hold, a strong feeling, you know. There's just a few things that are holding me back. There's a few things holding me back. And my question is, again, how long am I going to allow these things to hold me back? I don't want to be held back anymore. I want to be one of those people who consistently pray, consistently follow the godly life, consistently go to church, things like that. In the sermon this past Sunday, he said there's so many people that wish that they could actually physically come to church, but they're not able to walk. They're not able to even leave their homes because of like illnesses or anything like that. You need to reframe your mind when it comes to going to church on Sundays. You need to say, I got to come to church today, or I had the opportunity to come to church today. I was able-bodied enough to come to church today. And I really, 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 really like how he reframed that. And y'all, I read up a lot on like how to reframe a negative comment. 90% of the comments that I say are negative ones. I had to check myself and say, the more negative you speak and the less positive you speak over your life, which one is going to overpower? The one that you majority of the time do, which is speak negatively. So I have to stop doing that. Stop speaking negatively over my life. It really is true. Like, what you believe you can or cannot do is the truth. I heard that from a college professor. What you believe you can and cannot do is going to come to fruition. So for so long, I have been believing that I cannot do things, that I am a negative bubble walking around. And I really do not want to be that. I used to have a positive aura and a positive light around me, but now it just seems like a dark cloud. And with this journey, with getting into church and doing this podcast and becoming a better woman all around, I am going to start watching more sermons at home that specifically pertain to what I'm going through and where I want to be in life. That will be my homework outside of church too. I would like to read the Bible. I know that it can be a little intimidating to read the Bible, but there are apps and there are like roadmaps that can guide you into like reading the Bible and like truly understanding it. And there are websites that will give like a spark notes. So like little notes and explain further what's going on, because in the Bible they speak it's not a different language, but they add more to their words, and some of the words are not used today in today's vocabulary. And also some more homework that I want to do is to start reading some Christian affirmations. These Christian affirmations are based on the actual scripture from the Bible. And here's a few examples. I am loved by God. And this is Romans chapter 8, verse 38 through 39. And another example is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And this is Philippians chapter 4, verse 13. And my goal with reading these Christian affirmations it's more specific. As opposed to doing just regular affirmations, I want to do these because this is what I'm specifically working on. And what I'm specifically trying to learn is from the Bible. So it would be great to have affirmations from the Bible, from the actual scripture, to read aloud and to instill into my mind. And I believe it will help me from partaking in bad things. And my main bad things that I deal with is gluttony, which you can tell by looking at me. I overeat a lot. And another thing that I deal with is laziness. So I guess that's sloth. Another one as well is can't control like my impulsive behaviors. I'm not sure exactly what that one is considered. So I just looked up what impulsive behaviors are tied to in the Bible, like what deadly sins. And it says, yes, impulsivity can be linked to multiple deadly sins depending on the context. The most relative ones are wrath, which is acting out of controlled anger or frustration without thinking. So I definitely have that. It says gluttony, impulsively overindulging in food, drink, or other pleasures, which I highlighted already. And then this last one for sure, I do believe I have. It says lust, acting or fleeting desires without restraint. So I believe that those desires can be an array of things. So yes, I definitely suffer from that too. Over these next few weeks, I would love to see some great improvement. I'm going to look up a lot of scriptures that really go into detail about instances or stories where someone had to deal with the effects of being gluttonous. Another one that had to deal with the effects of being lazy or procrastinating. And then I'm pretty sure there's a lot of scriptures about people reacting quickly to certain things and then ending up in a whole bad situation or impulsively doing things and leading to bad situations, disarray in the community or in their village. I gotta really start being very specific about what I'm working on and be very specific about the stuff I'm reading up on to help and to fix what I'm going through.